The Battle of Teijang. Kuki struggle for autonomy in the face of external forces. The Battle of Teijang, a violent confrontation in the Sagaing region of Myanmar, marks a significant chapter in the ongoing struggle of the Kuki people to defend their ancestral lands and assert their autonomy. Teijang, a historic Kuki village, is located in Myanmar's Sagaing region, near the Indo-Myanmar border, and has long been a symbol of Kuki heritage. However, in recent years, the village has become a flashpoint in a larger conflict involving multiple insurgent groups, including Meitei terrorist factions, the Myanmar military junta, and other regional forces vying for control. For the Kuki National Army B, People's Defense Force, KNAB PDF, Teijang represents a vital part of their ancestral homeland. The KNAB PDF, an armed group dedicated to defending the rights and territory of the Kuki people, has been engaged in a fierce battle to regain control over the village from forces that seek to undermine their sovereignty. The situation is further complicated by the occupation of Teijang by Meitei terrorist groups, including the Shan National Army, SNA, National Socialist Council of Nagalim, Nscn, IM, and the support they receive from the Myanmar military junta, which has a nearby military base. The Kuki people and Teijang's historic significance. The Kuki people have a long history of inhabiting both India's northeastern states and Myanmar's Sagaing region. Divided by colonial-era borders, they have often faced ethnic tensions and marginalization. Teijang, as a historic Kuki village, has been central to the community's cultural identity and political aspirations. It represents a strategic and symbolic point in the ongoing struggle for Kuki autonomy in a region marked by competing interests from various ethnic groups and external powers. In recent years, however, Teijang has been occupied by insurgent forces that do not represent Kuki interests. These forces include Meitei militant groups from India's Manipur state, such as the People's Liberation Army, PLA, the United National Liberation Front, UNLF, and the National Socialist Council of Nagalim, Isak Muiva, Nscn IM. These Meitei groups, which have been fighting against the Indian government for greater autonomy, have now joined forces with Myanmar's military junta. The Myanmar junta, which has long been engaged in brutal campaigns against ethnic minority groups in Myanmar, has been providing logistical support to these insurgents. The presence of these insurgent groups in Teijang is a blow to the Kuki people, who are determined to reclaim their historic lands. The KNAB PDF, which is active along the border regions of India and Myanmar, has been engaged in a violent campaign to regain control of Teijang and the surrounding areas from these hostile forces. Meitei terrorists and their alliance with the Myanmar junta. The alliance between the Meitei insurgent groups and the Myanmar military junta is an alarming development in the ongoing conflict. Historically, the Meitei and Kuki groups have had strained relations due to territorial disputes and differing political objectives. However, the Meitei insurgent groups, including the PLA, UNLF, and Nscn IM, have formed an alliance with the Myanmar military junta in an effort to weaken the KNAB PDF and its claims over the Kuki territories in Myanmar. This alliance, while unusual, reflects a convergence of interests between the Meitei groups and the Myanmar military. Both factions aim to destabilize Kuki-controlled territories and prevent the establishment of Kuki autonomy in the region. The Myanmar junta, whose military bases are located near Teijang, has been providing logistical and military support to these insurgent groups. This includes the supply of weapons, training, and strategic coordination. In return, the Meitei groups provide additional forces to bolster the Myanmar military's efforts against ethnic groups, including the KNA-B-PDF. This collaboration has significantly intensified the violence in the region, with both sides engaged in frequent skirmishes and ambushes. The role of foreign support, Chinese military aid, and Starlink technology. The conflict in Teijang has also been shaped by the involvement of foreign actors, particularly China. Reports suggest that the Meitei insurgent groups, as well as other forces aligned with the Myanmar military, have received military support from China. This includes weapons such as Chinese-made firearms and explosives, which have been used by these insurgent forces in their operations. The flow of Chinese military equipment into the hands of insurgent groups has further escalated the violence and made it more difficult for the KNA-B-PDF to mount a successful defense. In addition to military support, the Meitei insurgent groups have been using Elon Musk's Starlink satellite internet service. Initially designed to provide internet access in remote areas, Starlink has been co-opted by insurgent groups to facilitate secure communication and coordination. This access to advanced technology has allowed the insurgents to share real-time intelligence, organize attacks, and spread propaganda, further complicating the already volatile situation. The Battle of Teijang, an intense 6-hour gunfight. On the morning of the battle, a fierce clash erupted near Teijang when Meitei insurgents, supported by Myanmar's military junta, ambushed a KNA-B-PDF camp located near border pillar number 87 in Manipur's Kamjong district. The attack, which began around 2:15 a.m., quickly turned into a prolonged and violent gunfight. The KNA-B-PDF forces were caught off guard by the ambush, and they found themselves under heavy fire from both the Meitei insurgents and Myanmar military personnel. The battle raged for at least 6 hours, with the KNA-B-PDF facing a relentless onslaught. During this period, both sides suffered heavy casualties. The KNA-B-PDF lost multiple soldiers, including at least 4 Kuki fighters, who were killed in the crossfire. Meanwhile, Meitei insurgents also sustained significant losses. Reports indicate that at least 3 Meitei militants died on the spot, while several others were injured. Despite the heavy losses, the gunfight did not end after the first 6 hours. Intense exchanges of fire continued intermittently throughout the day, as both the Meitei insurgents and Myanmar military forces attempted to consolidate their positions. The KNA-B-PDF, which had been ambushed, struggled to hold its ground, but they were able to seize 6 advanced weapons from the fallen Meitei insurgents, believed to be of Chinese origin. This was a significant win for the KNA-B-PDF, although the destruction of their temporary camp during the battle was a major setback. As news reports filled, it was confirmed that the violence had continued for several more hours, with casualties mounting on both sides. The situation remained tense, and reinforcements were expected to arrive for both sides. In response, a team from the Assam Rifles, stationed along the border, quickly deployed to the scene to investigate and secure the area. Just as the KNA-B-PDFs struggled to regain their territory. The KNA-B-PDF's primary objective in this battle, as with all their efforts in the region, is to reclaim their ancestral land from foreign forces and insurgent groups that have taken control of it. Teijang, once a symbol of Kuki heritage, is now occupied by forces that do not represent the Kuki people's interests. The KNA-B-PDF has been waging a difficult battle to restore Kuki control over the village and ensure the survival of their culture and autonomy in the face of overwhelming odds. The Myanmar military junta's support for Meitei insurgents coupled with the use of advanced technologies and Chinese military aid, has made the KNAB PDF struggle even more daunting. However, the Kuki forces remain resolute, and despite the many setbacks, they continue to resist the occupation of their land and fight for their sovereignty. The broader geopolitical implications. The Battle of Teijang is a microcosm of the broader geopolitical struggles that are taking place in the Indo-Myanmar border regions. The alliance between Meitei insurgent groups and the Myanmar military junta introduces a new layer of complexity to the ongoing ethnic conflict in the region. The involvement of external actors, such as China, and the use of advanced technologies like Starlink has further intensified the violence and made it more difficult to find a peaceful resolution. The KNAB PDF's fight for territorial control is not only a local struggle, but a broader one involving regional and international powers. The stakes are high, as both the Kuki people and the insurgent forces fight to control a region that is rich in history, culture, and resources. Conclusion: a struggle for survival and autonomy. The Battle of Teijang represents a critical moment in the ongoing struggle of the Kuki people to defend their ancestral lands and assert their autonomy. The KNAB PDF's efforts to regain control over Teijang from the Meitei insurgents and Myanmar military forces are emblematic of the larger fight for Kuki sovereignty. Despite the challenges they face, the KNAB PDF continues to resist the forces that seek to undermine their territorial claims. As the situation remains tense and fluid, the Kuki people's struggle for survival, identity, and self-determination is far from over. With the involvement of powerful external actors, the conflict in Teijang and the wider border region is set to continue, with devastating consequences for all those caught in the crossfire.
To stay informed about the ongoing struggles faced by the Kuki people and other ethnic groups in the region, subscribe to Nscn Media for updates and more in-depth coverage. Disclaimer: the videos used in this report are under YouTube's fair use policy.